Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's Nick from Noobkill coming at you with another video today. So welcome back to another episode of Nick's Picks. This is where I give you guys my NFL predictions. This is going to be for week 7. Last week for week 6, I said it was going to be a pretty tough week and I was pretty surprised of the outcome. I only got 2 teams wrong, and the 2 teams were the Steelers versus Dolphins, and then the Sunday night game with the Colts versus the Texans. Now, that Colts game, man, I called the Colts to win. They were winning pretty much all the way until the end, and then it crumbled like crazy. And then the funny part was, like I said, a lot of bad teams were playing a lot of bad teams, and a lot of good teams were playing a lot of good teams. There was no really, I guess, like game you could say, hey, this is going to be a for sure winner. The only game I said that was going to happen was going to be for the Dolphins versus Steelers. I thought the Steelers were going to manhandle the Dolphins, but Big Ben got injured and they ended up losing that game. So yeah, we went 2-12. Can't really complain about that. Hopefully we can do a little bit better this week. Maybe go like maybe 1 loss or maybe under, or call them all right. But yeah, guys, let's jump into this week now. For the teams that have the bye this week, it's the Panthers and Cowboys. But let's get into our first game. It starts early. We're starting early with football at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. Why, guys, is because this game is actually being played in London. So we got the Giants versus the LA Rams. Now, they're saying the Rams have home field advantage, but of course they're playing in London, so technically not really a home field advantage. But I'm gonna go with the Giants here. I think that they won against the Ravens. They kind of broke that losing streak. Odell is being Odell, man. He's being him and that net thing, that's a little weird, but Odell's playing really great, and I think they can do it and win against the Rams on this one. I want to see Todd Gurley perform. He hasn't really busted out a been like the Todd Gurley was last season, this season. So I'll like to see if he can replicate that this game, but I'm going to call the Giants to win that game. Now, our next game is the Ravens versus the Jets. Now, the Ravens, they're on like a 3-game losing streak, I believe, and the Jets, they're after the Kansas City Chiefs manhandled them. They've been on a decline as well. They only scored 3 points in the Monday night game against the Cardinals. That being said, I am still going to pick the Ravens, the away team. So 2 away teams back-to-back winning this game right here against the Jets. But our next game, this one's a little tough one. We got the Lions versus the Redskins. I believe, I can't even remember what both teams' outcomes were, who won which games for this one. They are playing in Detroit, though. I'm gonna give this one to the home team just because I want to see Detroit win. So we're gonna give it to Detroit right there. Now, our next game, we got Oakland versus the Jags. Now, Oakland, they did lose last week as well, and I believe the Jags won by 1 point against the Bears last week. So I think they got their first win of the season with that game. I don't know if I'm right or wrong about that one. I might be right. But that being said, I'm still going to give this one to the Oakland Raiders. Even though they lost last week, that team is really, really great. Crabtree's stepping up this year. Of course, Derek Carr is playing really great. So I'm going to give this one to Oakland. The defense is nice as well. So yeah, that's that game. Our next game is going to be the Chiefs versus the Saints, guys. So this was a tough one. Breeze has been putting up, or not just Breeze, the Saints have been putting up a lot of numbers. Like every single game has been a lot of numbers. Like I believe like almost, I want to say 27 plus per game. I know they've been like around the 30-point game march for probably like 4 out of the 6 games they played for sure. And then last week, they almost lost last week against the Panthers, but they ended up taking the W there as well. And the Chiefs, I think they beat Oakland last week. I'm going to give this one to the Chiefs, though. I think it's going to be another high-scoring game, but they are at home. I'm going to give this one to the Chiefs. Now, our next game is going to be Buffalo versus the Dolphins. Now, Dolphins, like we said, they surprised me a lot last week, beating the Steelers. They do have the momentum going, but, man, the Bills are on a streak, man. And what's his name? LaShawn McCoy. He's been playing really great. Now, I don't know if he was cleared to play for this weekend just yet. I know he got injured. I think his ankle or something. So that one does like hinder. That one with him being out, that does like hinder them winning a lot, just because he is a big part of that offense right now. But I'm going to still give this one to Buffalo. Tyrod Taylor's having a year himself. Next, we got Cleveland versus the Bengals right there. And that one's, I think this one's the no-brainer. If this one's the no-brainer and the Browns win, I'll be really shocked because they're the only winless team in the league right now. So that one's pretty much easy. They're playing in Cincinnati as well. So yeah, guys, our next game, though, we got the Eagles versus the Minnesota Vikings, the only undefeated team. And that being said, this only undefeated team is well rested, coming off a bye. So I'm going to give this one to the Minnesota Vikings right there. Next, we got the Colts versus the Titans. Now, like we said, the Colts, they crumbled like crazy, and a lot of their players did get injured at the end of the game. And Tennessee, DeMarco Murray has been playing really great as well, and that defense, I think, can do it for them. So we're going to give it to the Titans right there. Next, we got the Chargers versus the Falcons. Now, the Falcons, they lost last week against the Seahawks, and that last call right there at the end of the game where Julio Jones had Sherman grabbing, I think, his right arm, and Earl Thomas was on him too. That was a questionable play, but it did end up them losing, and I think the Chargers, I can't remember the Chargers games as well right now, but I'm going to give this one to the Falcons. They're, I believe, the best offense right now. They're putting up a huge amount of numbers, and they're just playing really great. So we're going to give that one to the Falcons right there. Next, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the 49ers. Now, the 49ers played the Bills last week. Kaepernick's debut season game, I guess, and he didn't really play up to expectations, but the Bills, like we said, playing on a hot streak, so I wasn't expecting him to win that game. But then the Bucs, they're coming off the bye. It's played in San Fran. I'm going to give this one to the Buccaneers. Now, for the next one, this one's kind of a no-brainer, guys. I'm a Patriots fan, so this one's a little biased. Don't really go against my team. I made my mistake when I went against my team in week 1, and we demolished. But we're going to pick the Patriots on this one. Why? Of course, Tom Brady's back. The team is all back and healthy, I believe. And then Big Ben is out with that knee injury. So, that being said, that was kind of a no-brainer. Now, our Sunday night game is going to be a nice one as well. We got the Seattle Seahawks versus the Arizona Cardinals. A huge game right here is played in Arizona. The first 4 weeks, Arizona could not find themselves. I don't know, they were playing not the greatest, but they're starting to pick it back up, which is really nice, I guess. So that is pretty tough right there. But then Seattle's been playing really great. They beat Atlanta last week, and that was a really tall task. I'm going to give this one to Seattle just because I just think they can pull out the W right there. But yeah, guys, finally our last Monday night game, we got the Houston Texans versus the Denver Broncos. Now, I saw someone in the comments say I never picked the Texans to win. Now, last week I should have granted picked the Texans, but I don't know, the matchup that they just played, it's so tough for me to pick the Texans, especially with J.J. Watt out. And then, of course, this is Denver, the best defense, or I think, yeah, one of the best defense in the league still right now. I know the quarterback is questionable, and this is Brock Osweiler's, I guess, game back in Denver. First game back in Denver. I'm still going to give this one to the home team, though. The Denver Broncos, I say, are going to win this game. So, yeah, guys, those are my picks for Week 7. Tell me in the comment section below if you guys agree with my picks. Of course, these are all my opinion. If you guys don't agree with me, tell me why in the comment section below you don't think this team that I pick is going to win. Give me your reasons. Go ahead and rebuttal with yourself. That's the whole point of this series. I want to know your feedback, of course, guys, of which teams you guys think are going to win. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a relaxing Sunday. Please hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and I'll catch you guys soon. Peace. That's what. And